In the Life is funded in part by the H. Van Ameringen Foundation, Patricia Kind in honor of her brother, Henry Van Ameringen, Arcus Foundation, the estate of Richard W. Weiland, and by the annual support of In the Life members like you.
LGBT kids are coming out at younger ages, and unfortunately, they deal with bullying and harassment.
The kid had said, "What's the big deal? It's just that gay pussy fag kid."
Having allies, mentors, and role models to give them hope or the courage to express who they are can really help. This month on In the Life, we go inside the aggressive, homophobic world of sports, where coming out can be a big hurdle.
I was pissed because I love Kobe. That's my dude. Then I thought about it, that happens all the time.
And talk to allies and mentors changing the game.
I think it's important for straight athletes to talk about this taboo subject at times, gay athletes, because it sparks a discussion.
Then later, Kadeem Swinson shares his journey from LGBT homeless youth to college student, and how the organization Campus Pride helped him to become a leader.
I will be the first in my family to go to college.
Before a cross-country race, it's always custom to walk the tracks. We were walking the course. We were talking, and I felt a rock hit me in the back of the head. And once the rock had hit me and kind of people were reacting to it, the kid had said, "What's the big deal? It's just that gay pussy fag kid."
Homophobia in sport is so pervasive, partly because sport has always been sort of a male domain.
Hey coach, is Mickey Mouse here gonna live?
Mickey Mouse.
And I think sport has been perceived as sort of a place where men, in a way, learn to be masculine.
When I was in 7th grade, people kind of harassed me when I was that young because I was more effeminate than most of the guys. And so kind of hearing people say, "That's so gay and you're such a fag," made me think, well, actually, am I?
Jacob's experience is not isolated. From playgrounds to sports teams, homophobia is unfortunately all too common according to GLSEN's 2009 National School Climate Survey.
Some students are too scared to go to the gym. They see the locker room as such a scary place, they will skip gym or school altogether rather than have to go there. That's an incredible, powerful statement.
And the words used to taunt LGBT kids were broadcast on national TV in April 2011 when Kobe Bryant screamed the F word at a referee.
The count starts over. He's yelling at Benny.
At George Washington University, Chi alums, the first transgender NCAA basketball player, reacted to Kobe's slur.
I was pissed because I love Kobe. That's my dude. But then I thought about it, that happens all the time. I mean, he just so happened to get caught. I'm pretty sure there's probably not one NBA player who hasn't said it, faggot or gay or whatever.
Sean Chapin of San Francisco was also watching.
When I saw it happen, I was very upset by it. I went ahead and grabbed the video that was on YouTube, rehashed it with an LGBT message. It attracted a lot of attention and also attracted a lot of homophobic hatred.
When a professional athlete says something homophobic or hurtful, it is empowering the kids that look up to them to say those homophobic and hurtful things.
Words definitely matter. It's trickle-down homophobia that eventually gets into our schools.
Then, 2 weeks after the Kobe incident, an Atlanta Braves coach was also caught yelling homophobic slurs at San Francisco Giants fans. At that point, Sean had had enough.
So when I heard of Roger McDowell's homophobic comments at a Giants game, well, by that time, I already had the idea of asking the San Francisco Giants to make an It Gets Better video.
To the San Francisco Giants, professional sports world cannot afford to fall behind the rest of the country. This is why I am calling on you and your players to produce a video for the It Gets Better project. Born in September 2010, when a string of LGBT teen suicides was making national news, the It Gets Better project has provided the LGBT and straight ally community a means through YouTube telling our youth that it gets better. Your fan, Sean Chapin.
We love the video. I actually watched the video. It was about 2 in the morning. I immediately sent out an email to a number of people on the team saying, this is an amazing person. I don't know who Sean Chapin is, but we need to help. So Change.org is a platform where anyone, anywhere can sort of petition around any issue they care about. And we empower people through online tools to start effective campaigns.
When they sent an email to their mass distribution list, and the next day we got 5,000, 6,000 signatures, I'm just, my hair is raising just even saying this right now.
Hi, I'm Barry Zito. We speak for the entire Giants organization when we say that there is no place in society for hatred and bullying against anyone.
The fans are our biggest supporters here. We listen to what they say. It's something that you would want to do out of your heart.
It gets better.
It gets better.
We're in the public view. People use us as role models, and I think it's only fitted to, give something back.
Doesn't matter your sexual orientation.
Since then, the Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs, Minnesota Twins, and a growing list of other teams have made their own It Gets Better videos.
The participation of sports teams in the It Gets Better project is an indication that we're reaching this cultural tipping point on LGBT issues. Folks are realizing that support for gay people, gay rights, that these things are mainstream values.
Mainstream or not, it's going to take a concerted effort by all athletic teams to end homophobia in sports. And the one person who has been fighting for 3 decades for it to get better for LGBT athletes is retired University of Massachusetts professor Pat Griffin.
Why don't you come on upstairs to my office? That's where most of my queer stuff is. Well, this is my autographed picture of Martina Navratilova. Here's my book, Strong Women, Deep Closets, Lesbians and Homophobia in Sport. I'm very proud of this book. I feel like it's made a difference. I am the project director for Changing the Game, the GLSEN Sports Project. I've been working on LGBT issues in sport for over 30 years.
This year, GLSEN launched something called Changing the Game. The advisory panel is run by Pat Griffin, who is literally the godmother of all LGBT sports research. Changing the Game focuses on athletics and physical education in K through 12 schools. Some of the most insidious types of homophobia start very, very, very young. And if we can work with youth leagues and youth teams and youth coaches and get them to recognize that in an environment that is welcoming and supportive is a winning environment. Our mission is to make sure that every school in the United States, their athletic programs, their physical education programs are based on the core values of respect, safety, and inclusion, so that every student, regardless of their sexual orientation or their gender identity, can achieve their goals in athletics.
And joining Pat in her fight for equality are 2 prominent straight allies, rugby star Ben Cohen and college wrestling champ Hudson Taylor, who have created their own organizations to end homophobia.
We've got an event at Boxers tonight to support anti-bullying across the board, but specifically in the LGBT community. And the reception we've had has been amazing.
To have athletes like Ben Cohen, who is a former professional athlete and who is heterosexual, or a Hudson Taylor, or any of the other straight male athletes who have been speaking up, they get attention. And they're great role models for other straight athletes.
For a long time, when I heard homophobic language used, it didn't affect me because I didn't have any out friends, I didn't have any out relatives. As a college freshman, I actually started at the University of Maryland as a theater major. Once a month, I had a friend who would come out to the class, and it would be a big celebration. And then to hear that homophobic language from my teammates is really the first turning point that encouraged me and inspired me to try to do something about it. As a captain of my wrestling team, as an All-American athlete, I felt that I was in a position to try to change the word choices of my teammates. Every week, I try to put out a video called the Allies Playbook. Every time we step out onto that field, we're standing up as leaders. And what I try to do is give athletes some proactive advice that they can follow, that they can take back to their athletic community, back to their teams, to try to make a difference. Up until today, there have been about 3,000 people who have signed the Athlete Ally Pledge.
I think it's important for straight athletes to talk about this taboo subject at times, gay athletes, because it sparks a discussion. And I always hearken it back to the Jackie Robinson era. You know, think about a time when African Americans weren't allowed to play sports simply because of the color of their skin. And think about the contributions that were missed then that are now capitalized on. It's the same thing with sexual orientation as it was with skin color. It doesn't matter. You're either a great athlete or you're not.
While these athletes advocate for more straight allies to come out as supporters, others, like photographer Jeff Shang, who created the Fearless exhibit, advocate for more LGBT visibility in sports.
I majored in photography and filmmaking at Harvard and really wanted to make a project that had a lot of social impact. I emailed all my friends and said I want to photograph out LGBT athletes in high school and college. They thought I was crazy.
My name's Ashley Gradwell and I'm a Division I field hockey player. Field hockey is played with this stick. This side you use, it's flat. We go over the ball to pull it and come like this. This would be a slap hit.
I photographed Ashley for all the photo shoots that I make the athlete work out, and part of my goal is to capture them as an athlete.
He portrays normal athletes, people, you know, everyday people who you wouldn't pick out as being gay, and that was something that like really inspired me because all of my teammates are so supportive. I wanted to be a part of that.
I think it's her confidence. Like, she's so confident in herself that she just seems like such a leader to us.
I didn't really know. They just told me that she was gay, and it was just kind of cool that we had a lesbian teammate now. And I like it. She's funny. She tells us everything we need to know.
I think she's okay with talking about it. Like, she's willing to answer our questions when we have questions, which is every day.
Like, what kind of questions do you ask?
Anything inappropriate you can think about for a lesbian, that's what we ask.
Kai is another athlete who will be featured in an upcoming installment of Fearless.
Kai's photo shoot happened late last year. I had him shoot hoops for about an hour.
I definitely want to educate others because a lot of people know nothing about trans anything, and there's a lot of misconceptions.
One way to fight all misconceptions of LGBT athletes is for more gay professional athletes to come out as well. There are currently no out major league athletes in the U.S., but former Washington Redskins teammate Wade Davis feels that needs to change.
It's important for gay athletes to come out to show other youth and to show other young people that who they are is fine. Who they are is normal. I think a lot of times when you're a young gay person, you really question your validity on this earth.
It's a lot to ask, but coming out is the best thing you can do for kids. There are kids who look up to professional sports, and when they don't see anyone who's out, it's hard for them to imagine themselves there.
There's something that everyone can do, whether you are a graduate of a high school or whether you're a student or a parent and you have students in a school. Find out what's going on in that school. Teachers and coaches need awareness, they need strategies to protect students.
No one should come on a sports team and feel like they're being targeted for who they are.
So after being attacked by a teammate, does Jacob still feel targeted in school?
The next day, when we all came to practice, when this kid came in, the rest of the team booed him. And then the coach said he would do anything to help me. The school came forward and said that they would support me.
I think it is growing, acceptance of gay athletes, mainly because this topic has become national. The message is simple: accept and talk and think before you act. Because once you act, you can't take it back.
I often describe the work of addressing LGBT issues in sport as a relay race. You know, I've got my leg. I received the baton from some women and men who ran the race the leg ahead of me. So I'm grateful for all the young people who are stepping up and are willing to take this on and take it to the next level.
It's like taking the baton and passing it on to the next generation so they can run the best race of their life.
My name is Kadeem Swinson, and I'm 19 years old. And today I'm moving to campus housing. I will be going to the University of District of Columbia. I will be the first in my family to go to college. I came up to my parents when I was 16 years old. It went the wrong way. And little less to say, unfortunately, I was put out the house. I went and stayed with my grandmother for a while. After that, that's when I eventually became homeless. I didn't want to go into a shelter because I hear horror stories about the shelters all the time, especially for gay youth. I moved into this abandoned buildings. I stayed in this building for my junior and I guess the beginning of my senior year. That's the room I stayed in all the way to the top. And that room is quite kept intact. Yeah, it's not as dirty as the other ones, but I cleaned it up a little bit. Is anybody in here? I still went to school pretty much every day. You know, I still got good grades. I saw a portal that would lead to better doors so I won't have to be in the position that I grew up in.
Kadeem basically came in like many of the young people that we serve. After a while, he began to just kind of feel comfortable with us and, you know, explain the situation. And through that, you know, we tried to get him into our One Austin House program.
There's been a roof over my head. So, I think it's nice. They give you a lot of leeway. And the staff, they're pretty nice. So, it's like pretty much like a big family.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Kadeem, welcome today. I'm glad you came back to talk to me. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with you.
Well, I'm supposed to be graduating in school, I believe June 14th. And I'm also applying for UDC. I just have to stick, you know, this year out at UDC. Then I'll be able to transfer to probably a better school. The biggest problem was, could I go to a school and how can I afford it? Because, you know, I really don't have the resources. Due to a lot that was going on my freshman and sophomore year, I did terrible in school.
Okay, okay.
But when I received all the support I needed and everything, I was able to bust A's and B's.
Are you open enough to talk about, well, look, I was homeless, you know, I've been going through a lot. Are you able to do that, or you just only talk about it as needed?
For the moment, I only do it as needed.
Given your situation, like you said, you were struggling back then. If anybody that was making that decision for you to go to college had known the internal things that you were going through, guess what? They would have passed you with flying colors. Say, this is a young man that at least deserves an opportunity. You have the ability to be that role model for other young people. You're intelligent, you're bright, and sometimes you just have to step out of it. You have to say, you know what? I'm willing to go public and say, you know what, I struggled. I've lived in abandoned buildings. I've been homeless. You have to be willing to say it. And guess what? You know better than I. Doors were open.
That's what a liberal arts college. What that means is we have a very active queer community on campus.
We had our first fair in Charlotte, North Carolina in October. Then we went to Boston, New York, Portland.
My name is Shane Windmeyer. I'm the executive director and the founder of Campus Pride, the nation's leading organization for LGBT and ally college students and campus groups. I read Kadeem's story in the paper and it really inspired me. It demonstrated tremendous bravery and courage, and I thought I need to make sure I do everything I can to give this young person an opportunity.
Thank you. Shane got in contact with me and told me that I will receive a scholarship. I'm supposed to be going to this program called Campus Pride in July. It's a camp for leaders in the LGBT community, and I received a scholarship to go. From this, I'm hoping I might be able to meet new people, pick up good networks, and learn more that I can do to be a positive role model. BB Zahara is supposed to be there from RuPaul.
Really?
Yeah.
The best part is BB's gonna be with us all week as well. When I came to America, everybody was always thinking that Cameroon was a continent. And I had to teach them, I had to tell them Cameroon is a country and Africa is a continent. And we also have televisions and radios, you know, and restaurants and hotels. And we just don't hunt lions and live in huts.
My name is Kadeem Swanson. I'm currently a student at the University of District Columbia.
Hi, I'm Sierra. I go to University of Alabama in Huntsville.
I go to the University of Notre Dame.
I'm a sophomore at Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Our mission is building future leaders, creating safer, more LGBT-friendly campus environments. We bring students in and we look at our identities, we look at how to empower and how to change our campus communities.
It's just really fascinating to see who these people are, where they came from.
And I want you to face your partner right now, and I want you to observe your partner from head to toe. How often do we, without even talking to someone, we observe and see who they are and basically judge or at least interpret, right, and make assumptions?
It's changed my perspective of what we should have as our status quo at every school. That they said in Colorado and California, they have whole buildings dedicated and majors, GLBT majors. Like, I never even thought of that.
People come here and often it's a few people from this campus and someone from that campus and someone from another, and they come together and they realize that they're not the only ones in the world trying to do this work. It's the most exciting thing to see people lose that feeling of isolation and to get a sense of community.
As an activist / leader, you know, you have to have a tough skin. I'm not saying that makes it right. And here, you know, it's a different story. But once we leave, we're gonna go back to the real world. Yeah. You know, and you have to have a tough skin out there. You're gonna get beat up.
Things that would be really important to me, other than education level, will be if I go to a campus, will I be safe? I don't want to feel like, you know, I have to get into a protective gear because of my sexuality when I get to school.
Many of the issues that we thought maybe weren't as salient or as real anymore are still very much real. Bullying and suicide happened before this past September. It just took 7 young kids who were gay for the media to pay attention to it. On a college level, things just don't get better. We have to pick the right college to go to. 23% of LGB, lesbian, gay, and bi identified students, faculty, and staff are harassed on campuses. 1/3 of transgender students, faculty, and staff fear for their physical safety. I mean, this is 2011.
I was outed in 9th grade quite viciously by my best friend, and overnight I went from being class president in 8th grade to in 9th grade basically having very few friends that I could call close friends. The reaction of the school was complacency, it was ignorance, and it really shaped my decision looking for a college. I wanted a school that I knew I would be safe at, but also a school where I knew there was some opportunity to change and I could bring my voice and make a difference on campus.
It's a sad situation that young people have to make their campuses safer. College administrators should be doing that work, but it's only going to get better if we all kind of pay attention. So this action plan is something that Campus Pride works with the students over the next year to help them create change on their campus.
You know, I went to an inner city school. I guess they don't expect you, you know, as much to even want to go to college. I'm scared what's, you know, if I will be able to get into a school.
Your story, your conviction, your bravery, what you kind of came out of, right? And what you've kind of risen above, and your determined spirit, that's enough, as far as I'm concerned, to get you on any college campus. Kadeem, I think, is his own person. In many ways, while Kadeem may be getting something out of Camp Pride, I have to be a little selfish and say Kadeem's already given me wonderful gifts and wonderful lessons myself.
We have many workshops, from learning how to do drag makeup.
Drag has a long place in the history of the LGBT community.
Today we're going to go over what an action plan is and sort of how to just start to think about it.
To a lot of keynote speakers coming this week.
The Kinsey scale, right?
So I invite you to be radical, to explore all facets of who you are.
And help you identify the power structures that are at play in the work that you're going to do back on your campuses.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell my story to another little boy. I'm going to tell my story to another little girl. And you know, when they grow up and they see what I have become, they can be able to identify themselves and say, listen, I can be that person.
Thank you for watching In the Life. To learn more about the athletes featured in Changing the Game and how they respond to homophobia in sports, visit our website at itlmedia.org. You can also sign up for monthly air date alerts and connect with organizations featured in this month's episode.
In the Life is funded in part by the H. Van Ameringen Foundation, Patricia Kind in honor of her brother, Henry Van Ameringen, Arcus Foundation, the estate of Richard W. Weiland, and by the annual support of In the Life members like you.